Dr. Charles Apoki is the founder of Petra Ministries, a non-denominational and non-religious mission with a vision to build up financially independent young individuals who would function better as kingdom citizens. He is a graduate of the prestigious College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, a master's degree holder in public administration, and the proprietor of Petra Christian Academy. He is an ordained clergyman, an international conference speaker, a serial entrepreneur, and a research person to different companies and organizations. Dr. Apoki is a mentor, leader par excellence, an experienced marriage counselor, and the convener of the Word and Wisdom Conference, a capacity-building seminar that attracts pastors, religious leaders, as well as business tycoons from different denominations and around the world. He is happily married to his childhood friend, Felicia Apoki, and they are blessed with 4 amazing children. This morning, with Jesus' joy, let's receive the impactful ministry of Dr. Charles Apoki.
Praise the Lord. Father, we thank you. We worship you. Even at times like this, you are still God, and you are still faithful, and you are still speaking. Lord, we have come to your feet to learn. Give us receptive hearts, attentive ears to learn. We pray that the words we will hear will produce tangible results in our lives. Your name alone will be glorified. In Jesus' name we pray. Please be seated. I thank God that I'm here. I'm so glad to see my bishop and my first pastor and the very beautiful wife. Mama, you get more beautiful every year. What's the secret? I want to thank my bishop for inviting me to share with you. And I'm so glad to see my old friends. The world is not ending very soon. Most people who are jobless and lazy, anytime they just see small thing like this, they say it's end time. If your pikin won't marry for US, or you get one big contract when you want to, you no go want to talk about end time. And when life, they had you, end time, end time. There was the plague. Millions of people died. There was the Spanish flu. Millions of people died. As far back as 1918. This one too shall pass over. And it is only those who plan for tomorrow that can reap the harvest. Even now, during the coronavirus, people are making money. People selling face masks are making money. Am I talking to somebody here? And if you don't listen in church, today, this message, please listen. If any person is outside, please encourage the person to come inside. Some of you who listen to me on radio, Quest FM 93.1 every Wednesday by 6:30 a.m., you will have heard this message before. I preached it to an audience, a potential audience of 11 million people who listen. And I've preached it in some countries and in several of our churches. And it's just to prepare you for the decade. I don't plan per year. I plan per decade. The life I'm living now, I had planned it long time ago when I was 23 in medical school. And I'm living the life I had always wanted to live. A life without plans is a fertile ground for the devil to plant seeds. When you hear a man praying that whoever put my destiny in a pot, know that he never planned for his future. If your destiny can size a pot, you must be very stupid. When you see a professor praying and shaking his head like a concrete mixer, believing that a witch is worrying him, he went to school but is not knowledgeable. I'm going to speak on the subject 10 years from now. 10 years from now. What will you look like? Where will you be? What will you be doing by the year 2030? I heard this passage first from our Bishop Akoin. Psalm 90 verse 12. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. I think I heard him preaching on telly then or somewhere, and I took note of that passage, and it has been helping me. First Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32 talks about the sons of Issachar who knew the times and who knew what they were supposed to do. At the age of 12, Jesus was already preparing for the age of 33. He said, don't you know I should be about my father's business? So, 10 years from now, you see, sometimes church can be unnecessarily exciting, particularly black churches. If you go to preach in the United States or any nation, if you go to white churches, they are more composed and they listen better. The African church is unnecessarily excited. And particularly in the Niger Delta, we, the Urobos in particular, and we are unnecessarily happy even in poverty and backwardness. You will see a boy collecting stickers is just doing like this. Stupid human being. The one coming to collect deve from you who has never built a house. No deve man I know has built a house. Bros, no. The northerners that rule us, go to Hausa Quarter. Go to the one in Nugeli, go to the northerner is not unnecessarily excited. He's a calmer human being than most of us here. And until we settle down to reason, Christianity will just be a delusion. In John chapter 20, there was a napkin that was used to wrap the head of Jesus Christ. It was folded aside. And there was a cloth that was used to wrap him. The Catholics believe that they have that cloth. It's called the Shroud of Turin. And a photographer called Secondo Pia, years back, took a picture of that cloth, and they saw the imprint of a man on a cloth. It was from there they changed the paintings of Jesus Christ, removed the nail from the palm, and put it between the ulna and the radius. Because the ulna and the radius are strong enough, the ligaments there, to hold an adult. The palm might not hold an adult with a nail. That cloth was stained with blood. Number one, the blood that healed the land. You know that the blood of Jesus is not the blood of man. It's the blood of God. The word that was conceived in Mary was not logos or rema. It is called sperma. It is the chromosome of God. So when the chromosome of God was formed in Mary and incubated, when Jesus' blood does not cross the placental barrier. So Mary's blood did not mix with Jesus' blood. So it was the blood of God that was in Jesus. Between the placenta and the child, the transfer of oxygen and carbon dioxide is by transfusion. But glucose and amino acids is by active transport by what is called the cyclic AMP, cyclic adenosine monophosphate. You see, You need to preach like this in this generation because this is a generation that is very argumentative and stupid. And you need to have superior knowledge to intimidate them. I was in an airport in Europe. I was preaching to a white man. He was looking at me stupid. I told my friend, behave yourself. Your skin is whiter than my skin, but my brain is whiter than your brain. And the mumu asked me, have you heard of evolution? I said, you are talking to a doctor, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Then I asked him, have you heard of Lamarckism? The mumu ran away to go and smoke. So, when the blood of Jesus congealed on the cross, when blood congeals, it forms plasma and cells. When that of Jesus congealed, it formed water and the packed cells. So when they pierced his side, the creator of heaven and earth shared his life as a ransom for the earth. Then the earth, the price was fully paid because it is finished. Then the righteous dead, the earth had no legal authority to hold them bound. So they walked the streets of Jerusalem. Therefore, the land was also healed. It's only black people that do land deliverance for an innocent land. When your brain is stupid, you look for demons in the land instead of looking for the diamonds in the land. It took a knowledgeable man to come and see oil in Oliobiri. That's why we can't manage our refineries. We import import fuel, and our president goes for treatment in UK. When I was in medical school, the king of Saudi Arabia used to send his family to our hospital. The reverse has become the case. And so, the land in Nigeria has been healed. The land in your community has been healed. Why is it that black people pray, black people shout, black people fall under anointing and break chairs without productivity? Scientists have proven that religiosity is a Siamese twin with poverty. The more religious, I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm not talking about kingdom life. The more religious, I detest religious people. The more religious people are, poverty is inevitable. Because religion is an assassin of the intellect. It kills the brain. You might not like what I'm saying. The napkin that wrapped the head of Jesus that was folded aside typifies the following. Number one, thorns and thistles were carried on the head of Jesus Christ, so that your land will not grow thorns and thistles. Number two, blood stained the napkin, so that you will not eat from the sweat of your brow. Am I talking to somebody? Because now we have the mind of God. We have the mind of Christ. God is a creative entity that created us out of a chaotic situation. The more the black man uses his head, the more productive he will become. And when you provide a fertile environment like America, the average Nigerian family has more graduates per family than any other race in the United States. The first black woman to get a PhD in aerospace engineering is a 26-year-old Igbo American. Eke Onuma's son works in NASA, National Aeronautic and Space Agency. When my son, my last born, went to Europe to school, he made a first class. In his master's, he had an average of 80-something%. His elder brother had an average of 83-point-something% in Europe. So, the problem with the black man, why we are not productive, the environment is not conducive for productivity. Number two, we fail to reason. Number three, we outsource responsibility to God that we are supposed to be carrying out. God cannot clean streets. God will not choose your president for you. If you choose a president that has not addressed you because he's practicing how to pronounce corona, that is your problem. nation gets leadership that they deserve. Am I talking to somebody? 10 years from now, face reality. Avoid self-delusion. If you are 40 years old now, 10 years from now, you will be 50. 50 is totally different from 40. You will not understand it. The first time I mounted this pulpit, I didn't use eyeglasses. I didn't have waist pain. That time, I will talk another thing. Let me leave that aside. I will be 71 years old 10 years from now. And I make sure that all the steps in my buildings the gradient is very low, so that I can still climb them even unto old age. I always look very far. My children know the hymns they will sing in my burial. They know the place I kept the flags that they will bring out for the nations I have traveled. I told them yesterday, I might even preach the message in my funeral. I will record it and they will play it. Gamaliel Onosode planned his funeral. And because he was an old boy, the Government College Old Boys Association played a great role. He signed a blank check for his children for his burial. And when we were burying him, the moderator would say, our ancient mariner said that by so time we should be leaving the hall. And we followed. Don't live a jaga life. When you live a jaga life, you start blaming the devil. The devil is not as smart as Africans portray him. 10 years from now, my eldest son will be 44. And I used to warn him, I will live long. I will not die on time. I go chop my wealth well. So plan your own life. If you don't plan your own life before you go inherit waiting at the labor for so, you don't get beer like me. If you think your father is a wealthy man here, and you are 30 years old, and you are still living in your father's house, you are a stupid child. I opened my first hospital when I was 29 years old. If you are 30 years old and you're going to live to 90, you have already spent 1/3 of your life. If you sleep 8 hours every day, poverty and sleep, they are neighbors. Say a little sleep and a little slumber. And your poverty, there's a poverty that has a label of your name. I was telling them when I was coming, the man that carried me, when I was coming out of the hotel, I said my father was a gateman in Idama Hotel when I was in medical school. And I sleep in the best hotels in the country, the most expensive. There was a command my father gave to me. He said, the book when I know fit read them. Or you when I know fit speak them. Where I know fit carry this name, go, carry and go. 10 years from now, when I was in the mud house in Okere, I used to read the Guinness Book of Record cover to cover. Today, I feed by talking. I feed by talking. If you see land I have bought from talking, you will trek and you will need to eat lunch. I told them, a woman called me from a company in Port Harcourt, an oil company. How much will it cost you for you to speak to us for 1 hour? I said, $250,000. She said, it's expensive. I said, I went to good schools. SCOA has a slogan, the future starts now. When you take your academics on seriously, you look at your father's wealth that will expire very soon. If your father enters Lagos, there's no person in Warri that will enter Lagos, and Lagos will know that a man entered. Your father's work as a police commissioner is not inheritable by you. Neither is his work in Total or Shell inheritable by you. You must build. And if you watch television 8 hours every day, 8/24, it is 20 years out of the remaining 60 years. So at 30, 50 years is wasted out of your life. And if you're a stupid woman that watches Telemundo and Z World until your soup will burn, they need to bring you to me, let me slap your head. How can you be watching successful people? If you have time to watch successful people, you're a stupid person. Record them and watch them at your spare time. I know all the records of the Premier League, but I don't sit down and watch somebody playing in the UK. I'm too busy for that. I cannot spend my time watching Ake and Popo. A short man like that can be a millionaire. What am I doing with my height and my brain? Don't go and fertilize the grave. Maximize your life. Let me quickly tell you something. Let me speak Urobo here. We remain children for too long. The Igbo boy takes responsibility very early. Let me tell you one thing. Your child that is 5 years old now, be living a stupid life. Your child that is 5 years old now will be getting ready to enter university 10 years from now. And you are teaching in a private secondary school, and they are paying you 40,000 naira a month. 10 years from now, if you don't urinate, you don't go to toilet, you don't travel, the maximum you can save is 4.8 million. Can you marry? Can you take care of a child in a university? When I was traveling around and pastors were maltreating me, I knew, my wife told me, he said, let us maximize these monies we are getting now, so that if they don't invite us in future, we don't need to go and preach. And I lived a very frugal life. I was telling them yesterday that the soap my children take their bath with is the one they give me in the hotel. I will take my bath with only one throughout my stay. I will not eat breakfast. I will keep the sardine. I will collect the tissue paper. If they give me food, be laughing. Be laughing. If they give me food, I will eat only a small portion and freeze the remaining ones. Because before I went to preach, maybe my wife will have bought kerosene on credit before I will come. And I will leave about 4 a.m. Nobody is ready to listen to excuses. My in-law at that time called me Ogoy Kwoka. But today I'm building a big school in Okokoko that has shut their mouth up. When she sees me today, she calls me my big in-law. It is results that matter. Your fashion to impress your fellow Church of God mission members does not matter. It is tangible results. One day we will reach your village. If there's nothing to show, you fall hand. You're a tenant with 3 cars in town here. Living in a house, they pay large amounts of. You have not molded one block. 10 years from now, your 2-year-old daughter will be entering secondary school. Are you aware of that? When you bring her to a word of faith and you are owing school fees, you say there's no love in the church. Mumu, plan your life. Young man, pregnancy is not an emergency. It gave you 9 months notice. And you young men growing beards on an empty brain, Pampers will suck you dry. The average baby uses Pampers of 6,000 naira every week or month. And these children can defecate. The back of my school is loaded. If you don't plan now as a young man and work hard now as a young man, every day you are saying, I receive, I receive, I receive. It will shock you. Be receiving. Be receiving what you have not labored for. I receive. I receive. You don't pay school fees in tongues. You don't buy baby food in tongues. Somebody, I was to go to India this period, and the Indian said I should come, that we are covered by the blood of Jesus. I said they don't prescribe the blood of Jesus in pharmacy. I should go die for India. How they will carry my dead body, come back. Only Jesus can lay down his life and pick it back again. Me, finish, Ogola. now, what are your plans? If you are 16 years old, or you have a daughter that is 16 years old, 10 years from now, she will be getting married. Are you thinking ahead? Or you'll be running ahead looking. Somebody's father died. He sent me a message that whether should he send his account number. Now me kill your papa. We enter the new year, now they'll come and meet me. Doctor, do new year for me. No, let me enter. You enter too. We'll do new year for each other. Don't have an entitlement mentality. God is not owing you anything. All this your foolish song. Holy Ghost, you owe me something. You owe me. What did he buy from you? I mean, now you even owe Holy Ghost something. All the anointing, and if you fall down in this church and break any of this church, they should hold you, replace it. Replace it, mumu. Only those who can buy chairs, break chairs. Years from now is not far away. The rate at which you are going, do you know your expenses will increase tremendously? What are your plans and your strategies? 10 years from now, life will ask you questions. I don't know if I told you the girl I went to propose to. You know, the children of the rich, I was telling them yesterday, don't marry below your social class. Don't carry a husband as a burden. He will sleep on top of you, impregnate you, you will deliver children, and then you'll be feeding him. That's masochism. Masochism. Masochism is the deliberate infliction of pain upon yourself. When your papa don't die on the cross of poverty for you, live on the grace, don't add disgrace. Love does not sustain marriage. It is responsibility that sustains marriage. When you are falling in love, it is common sense that is leaving your brain. Ask yourself, what is this boy bringing into my life to make my life better? Marriage is too difficult upon women, too hard upon women. You marry an idiot, poor idiots like sex more than reasonable men. Will be impregnating you every year. And he'll be walking with his hands akimbo. Young girl, at 16, they are still cleaning your room. 10 years from now, you will get married. I have young boys, their wives wake up late, bring children late to school. They don't know how to cook. Because you, the pseudo-rich, I call you pseudo-rich, because of most of what we are parading as wealth is false wealth. Your children don't know how to cook. Don't know how to dress bed. Don't know how to set a table. And the idiots are saying they are Malians. I saw online one girl open her buttocks. We are Malians. Let me correct you. They said they should not wear belt. A deaconess was called to the school of her daughter. They saw the pants of the daughter in the bag. That they should not wear pants. You don't know. I'm in the street. I'm a ghetto man. These students listening to me, they know what I'm talking. Don't you know the song Soapy? Don't you know so? I know Soapy. I went to a Catholic school to raise funds for their school bus. The girls of the school came out to dance. It was Soapy they were dancing. You know Soapy is the demonstration of the act of masturbation. And you see girls making like this. They say they should not graduate. And it's the children of the poor that we follow. Life will ask you questions 10 years from now. It is true. Life will ask you questions 10 years from now. Say you should not graduate. The idiot, Aziz Fashola, that is telling you not to graduate, not to wear belts, to talk to people rudely. He's a Yoruba boy. He bows down before his father. He bows down before his king. Aziz Fashola was in the UK at the age of 11 or 13. He made a distinction. He had a second qualification in business law. And you, from a village that is not on the map, you say you don't want to graduate. And you know, as an Igbo man, if you meet your fellow Igbo man, or as an Urobo man, you meet your fellow Urobo man in a panel, he will, when you speak Urobo, he will disqualify you. When you meet an Urobo policeman on the road, and you speak Urobo, he's the one that will tell you to park. Meanwhile, when the Yoruba man speaks Yoruba, they will allow him go. If Aziz Fashola gets into trouble, 20 Yoruba senior advocates will come out. There is no Urobo law student that will come and defend you. So be wise. 10 years from now, if you remain as a Maliam, you will be our gate man. Life will ask you questions. Not be your papa work for Shell. Not be your papa get so supermarket. Not be your papa do so. Know who your father is and know how to better who your father is. Am I talking to somebody? 10 years from now, may your daughter not be sent home because she can't clean a room. May your daughter not be sent home because she cannot cook. May your daughter not be sent home because she cannot wake up early. When my friend is leaving his house by 8 o'clock, that's when the wife is waking up. What do I prepare for you? The man is going out. Going out already. She traveled to the United States and left dirty plates behind. 10 years from now, life will ask you questions. I met my friend. Okay, I was telling you about the girl I was supposed to marry. We went to party at Shaki. It's electric. Boogie. Don't want to know. On our first Chris. Don't want to know it. It's electric. Boogie. I can't go tell rich man because I won't marry him. I said, Charles, you know I love you. You know I call you mobile encyclopedia. But we are not from the same social class. There is a time you will answer your father's name. There is a time, even if you are in the church, go and propose to bishop's daughter. And you are Bishop, sorry. Mama, sorry. Now preacher, they preach. No be trouble, I come find. They will pray for 6 years. By the time that girl don't born 4 children. Who want to make it picky go suffer? The girl said, we are not in the same social class. That day I cried. I said, Papa, if to see you know poor, this babe for free. But I went home with anger. And I read and I graduated. I started my practice. Some years back, the father died. And I called her. How are you? She said, fine. Where are you? So I'm in South Africa. Oh, I said I was there in 2003. She said, I knew you would do well. Why are you not married? What about your children? I just changed my grammar. I cannot keep myself. I said, oh, the eldest one is a doctor in Germany. He's an orthopedic surgeon. Wow. What about the next one? Oh, the second one. That's the third one. The second one has a master's degree. The third one is doing a PhD software engineering in Europe. Only 3. You know how they speak. Me also upgraded myself. I said there is a 4th one. I nearly speak for person face. It's also in Europe. Oh, see, that's splendid. Then she came for my 60th birthday celebration. She was coming. Immediately I saw her. I just changed my swag. You know? Don't do guy with poverty. It will disgrace you. And my babe was just coming. I deliberately selected my babe to compensate for that rejection. There is a time you need to get angry and say, this life, I am coming. I don't come. I don't come share another person's story. People, when they do better than me, they don't get two heads. I cannot stay behind. Some of you are celebrating nonsense. I told you one time, if you live in a room and parlor, you will think you have property until you park into a flat. And she made sure she also married a doctor. Life is a conflict of interest. It is competitive. It's a contention of destinies. It's a struggle for excellence, whether you like it or not. Some members of this church now are the members of another church before. Your customer used to be another person's customer. Am I talking to somebody? You are not the first girl that man saw. So when you marry him and come to Church of God Mission, don't turn yourself to Pomo that has side mirror. Just turn to an old woman. And he sees the former babe doing pedicure, manicure, and with a fine figure. If you are deeper, whatever, and you don't want to do pedicure, do only pedi, leave the cure. But don't let me regret marrying you. If there is a voice from heaven now, thou can take second wife. Even with Corona, this church go full remain. Many men are bearing. You know, fit divorce. Because our women age too fast. And you wicked women, after depriving me of life, you will turn to an international omugorist. Be traveling to go and see the children. God will punish you. You leave me alone at home with stupid girl that cooks food that runs 40 kilometers per hour. So that I can die a painful death. You and your children abandon me. He said, the wife of your youth should stimulate you forever. Am I talking to somebody? Even if the breasts fall, support them. Package them up. Wear something to stimulate my brain. Even if the engine is not working. David's engine was not working. The crankshaft had died. But they still brought a babe to keep him warm. Please keep us warm. We don't want to die foolish death. Don't look at me like that. Productivity is not only money. Give me results. Fulfill the reason why I married you. Am I talking to somebody? Life will ask you questions. When she saw my wife, clean babe. She don't old. Past my wife. I told her, I told the husband, please, I'm sorry we couldn't continue with medical practice. Women mouth. She waved her hand at the school like this. He said, when they practice medicine, if we build this one. That made my day. I did not fall hand. Land will become expensive here in Warri and where you come from. How many people know Oginibo, near the Jehovah Witness place? How many of you were passing it 10 years ago? Only 4 or 5 women were trading there. Today, that place is a big market. I bought a land, 350,000. I sold from it to train children. Today, where I'm building on is 28 million. You stay in Warri, be going to Ovie Palace Road and be eating your destiny as a burnt offering. Eating barbecue fish. That smoke going up is your future going. The smell of the barbecue fish is a sweet smelling aroma of poverty. You will regret it in future. Thank God you don't have somebody like me as a friend. I will be marking you. In your old age, if you come and disturb, I will remind you of your stupidity. You cannot eat your cake and eat my own. Mumu. A packet of cigarette is 200 naira. One block is 150. Be smoking cigarettes. Be smoking your life away. Be drinking Moet. and waiting for you in the future. Be toasting, babe. You think say promiscuity, they sweet me? You think I am not tempted? It is not economical to be promiscuous. It's a wasteful venture. Am I talking to somebody? To marry, to follow two women, very difficult. Una get brains, that's your brain. Why? If na me, I go call the name of the other woman for my wife's presence. How do you manage? And all you stupid girls that have Mugu 1, Mugu 2, Mugu 3 in your phone. Land is going to become expensive. Hebrew says that anywhere a cock crows, buy. Buy in your village. I come from Otokutu. They gave me 5 acres to buy at 500,000 naira. I refuse to buy. I refuse to buy. Today, 50 by 100 is 2 million. 5 acres is 40 plots of 50 by 100. Christians always see bush. Land investors see properties. Most of the bushes you are passing, there are pillars inside already. It won't be long. We will be going home. Count the weeks as days. The next trailer stand in front. You go just go quick. If you are going to stay on this earth, leave an inheritance for your children's children. The word is kingdom, is dominion and reign. There's nothing as sweet as being a landlord. You don't understand what I'm saying? When you are coming like this, the quaking, the fear in the compound is more than the rent. Landlord, they come, see me, small boy. You know? Number 2, it is a period of transition in governance. Most of those in power now will no longer be in power globally. Donald Trump will not be in power. Buhari will not be there. And woe betide these Fulani headsmen. If a non-Fulani who is not sympathetic to Meiti Allah comes into power, you will know that they are cowards. Oshomole and Femi Adesina should go back and check the history of all those who were presidential spokesmen and were political rascals. Politics is Ogbanje power. It's powerless power. Immediately they remove you. The sergeant that used to guard you can even slap you. Don't base your life on a political godfather. In Delta State, the commonest employment is special assistant. Somebody know they assist you. At the age of 40, the assistant you do. You know they plan your own life. The man when you assist in children, now doctors, then do overseas. You now to carry ballot box. Something not wrong with your brain. You don't want to live your own life. A nation where politicians are richer than businessmen is a corrupt nation. There's going to be transition in the body of Christ. A lot of leadership will retire. You are a pastor here. 10 years from now, what are you preparing for retirement? Some of our leaders will go to be with the Lord. Are we preparing people to take over, or we are just building cathedrals without building men? Are we? It was my pastor. I've never gone to a Bible school elsewhere. He's proud, at least. Church of God Mission should be proud of having somebody like me. Not be so? Are we raising new us? Or we are still celebrating the old men of our age bracket? My last son told me, he said, hand over the baton before you faint. Don't be running with the baton of ministry, then you fall down and faint. Your children will be confused whether to resurrect you or to pick the baton. Look at Jimmy Swaggart. He is there, his son is there, his grandson is there. We should not be afraid of the next generation. We should give them opportunities to manifest their gifts. We should give our youth opportunity to manifest their giftings. If not, they will leave us. 10 years from now, your doctrines are going to be challenged. And if you don't upgrade your messages from amen, who knew on a Sunday we will not come to church? Father's house. They are holding their church online today now. They are going to give their offerings online. We must prepare as a church for every eventuality. Be ahead of the game. Am I talking to somebody? I told them the last time, tithe and offering can no longer sustain a church. Let us start preparing ventures that even if church service is not going on. They've closed down churches in many countries, but hospitals are still open. If some of these hospitals were owned, the Catholic Church in Germany has 60% of the bed spaces in Germany. The 10 biggest hospitals in the United States, 7 of them are owned by religious organizations. I told them that a time is coming, weddings will not be with white gowns. Last year, before a young man last year wedded his wife in Igbo land with Ishiagu. They came with Ishiagu. They said the white wedding is British tradition. It's another culture. They said, this is our culture. Will you drive them away? The job you are doing now might not become relevant. I usually preach to UBA at the market every first working day of the year. On the 2nd of this year, I was there. I told them, please plan your life. Get a UK visa, US visa. Have something you are doing outside this bank. Because many of you, your jobs will no longer be relevant. In some branches of First Bank, people no more count money. You put the money inside, the machine counts it and gives you your paper, and you go away. One of the Christian people there said, God forbid. On the 5th or so, they sacked nearly the whole old workers. Ironically, they trained those who replaced them. Don't not tie and wear coats to another man's business. The tie and the coat is to reduce blood supply to your brain. Think of your own life. Technological innovation is coming. Fossil fuels are no longer going to drive cars. Solar, electric cars, and different types of mechanisms will drive cars. The price of oil came to $20 or $30 now because of the war between Saudi Arabia and bet me, salaries will be delayed. Do you have another thing that can feed you? When I was looking at the school, I was always scared of running only a school and basing most of my businesses inside the school. I was asking myself, now, all the preaching engagements I have, they are being cancelled because of Corona. So if it is honorarium I am waiting for, I will die of hunger. And these wicked churches, when you even preach, they don't know whether you have reached them. They won't call you. So, from I have bought pepper to plant. I paid for corn yesterday. I have paid for garden egg. I paid for cucumber. Not 1 acre, not 2 acres, not 3 acres, not 10 acres. I am planting. I have a poultry in my house that drops eggs every day. I'm preparing broilers for Easter. During Christmas time, I sold broilers from my house of $500,000 naira without carrying them to the market. I just did a video. I first posted them on my Facebook page. Then somebody came to buy. I told him to video record me. I carried 1 broiler. I know be Dangote or Adeleke. I dey sell fowl and I dey okay. Fowl money no dey smell. Doctor when they sell fowl, I know they shame. People started coming to buy. Rich people started coming to buy. I sold all my broilers from my sitting room. What are your plans? What are your plans? A man waiting for his children to feed him is an evil man. A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. What are your plans? Rat won't get one hole, they live long, according to Boma Eriko Siman. I will rush now. You must upgrade yourself and your business. There is good news, however. There's going to be a large population. So prepare to feed the people. Prepare schools. Prepare hospitals. Prepare what people will demand on a regular basis that government cannot close down. It is going to be a volatile, unpredictable period, dynamic period, an uncertain period, a rapidly changing period. Please be very prepared and be very dynamic. Think far ahead. Pray, but plan. Fast, but observe. One of our brothers yesterday taught us about inspiration and observation. Don't pray with your eyes closed and your mind closed. Don't become a burden to God. What you should have done, you refuse to do it. Don't disturb God with your stupidity. Don't let your stupidity create an emergency for God. He has too many things to do. Always have reserve money. Reserve money. Don't spend all your money. Like this lockdown that has taken place in Europe and America, many people are broke. They can't pay their bills. However, if the Lord delays, the undertaker might not delay. Nobody knows when we will go away. Plan as if you will live forever. Plan as if you will die tomorrow. What prayers are we going to pray? Prayer number one, God, break protocols. Some of you have remained in one place for too long. If it is going to be turn by turn, you will be like that man at the pool of Bethesda. I have no man. But God, Jesus came and broke protocols. God can break protocols. Number two, you are going to pray for divine speed. Harvest brother Ojinyomi. Being conceived on time. The wife. She went once. Boom. 2 children. The guy went again. I think that one was a bomb. Boom. 3 children. Only 2 deliveries. Family planning took place. You will pray for speed. There's a young man preaching now, Selman. Who knew him before? But it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Speed. The next thing you are going to pray for is divine rearrangement and divine arrangement and divine rearrangement. You see, when soup don't they cook, sometimes the woman go put the spoon like this. The pomo when they for ground go come up. God needs to take you from bottom, put you on top. Because it is you that will glorify his name. There are stupid people occupying where you are supposed to be. They are going to pray. Pray that you will take back your life. This year, take back your life. Don't wait for people. Don't even wait for the opportunities. Be like Lionel Messi. Dribble somebody and score the goal. They will quack your legs, but your leg will not break. Create the opportunity. I told them yesterday, they invited me to come and preach in Assemblies of God Church. Men all over the country. They came and they gave me only 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and 30 minutes. 3 times. I have off-cut from my books. I used them to print the lectures. I recorded them in my studio. I was selling each 500 naira. I'm not Assemblies of God. So the time they gave to me was small. You know, Osweke, Chidio Korafo, this, we, and many others. Now we will be many. But I create. The first 30 minutes, I spoke on legacy. I knocked legacy. Bang, 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 bang. 30 minutes, no reach. Now stop them. Pum! So the message is on the booklet there. and there's an 80-minute CD, you can collect it there. See rush. Then rush and finish. I run, come Ugili, print them again. I have an Ogbanje printing system. I printed again, duplicated CDs, went, they finished it. Then I preached another one, absolutism, opportunities, and productivity. And knock. They finished that one. The last day, they said I will preach for only 25 minutes. I gave one woman 5 minutes to sing. So it helped my market. Now, knock. As the man, before the man writes paper, I don't stop. Then finish everything. I left there with 750,000 from 3 messages from waste paper. One Assemblies of God pastor go block my road. So I do blood money. I don't do blood money. I do sense money. Any problem, any nation that has problems has opportunities. Look for the opportunities. Don't complain about the problems. Don't even pray for the problems to go away. You remove the problem. Prayer number 4, you will break the yoke of excuses and obscurantism. You always give excuses why you fail. This, when I have chance, when I rest, when I do this. Then we are going to pray for divine healings. That sickness has stayed there for too long. You need to be agile to fulfill your destiny and be productive. We are going to pray for marriages. There are marriages that have stayed for people who are supposed to have married, who have stayed for too long, particularly our sisters. I want to call my bishop to lead us in this prayer. Please clap for him.
Take somebody's hand.
I'm writing.
All right, take somebody's hand. Take somebody's hand. I'm sure God has spoken to you this morning. We are going to ask God, number 1, break protocols for me. Open your mouth and just pray. Say, God, break protocols for my sake. Somebody open your mouth and pray that prayer. If you heard the message well, ask God, break protocols for me. Break protocols for me. Somebody pray like you are praying. Pray like you are praying. What you are not qualified for can come to you because protocols are broken. Ask God to break some protocols for you. In Jesus' name. Still hold that person's hand. You're going to pray for divine speed. For 2 Sundays, I've talked about God satisfying us early. You are going to ask God for divine speed. Open your mouth and say, God, give me speed. Not just speed, divine speed. Somebody pray, give me divine speed. I have stayed in one place for too long. I have stayed in one place for too long. Give me divine speed. Give me divine speed. My business, my job. Somebody open your mouth and pray. God, take me from the backside to the front. I need speed, speed, speed. The psalmist says, satisfy me early. Somebody go ahead and pray. In Jesus' name. Now say, God, rearrange my life. Rearrange my life. Rearrange my priorities. Rearrange my destiny. Take me from the bottom to the top. Let God rearrange our story. Rearrange our destinies. Rearrange my priorities. That I'll set my priorities right. In Jesus' name, ask God to break every yoke of delay in your life. Every yoke of procrastination. Every yoke of postponement. Lord, break the yokes of delay in my life. Break every yoke of delay in my life. The yoke of stagnation. Lord, break them from my life. Pray, ask God to break the yokes of stagnation. The yoke of delay in my life. Laboring without result. In Jesus' name. Now we are going to pray for marriages. There are marriages that are sick. There are people who are just cohabiting. There are husband and wives that don't even talk to each other. But they are married, they are in the same house. We are going to pray. Let God heal our marriages. Open your mouth. Say, let God heal our marriages. Everybody that is not enjoying their marriage now. Any marriage that is going through crisis. Any marriage that is going through challenges. Some are at the verge of divorce. Let's ask God, bring healing to that marriage. Bring healing to that marriage. Our marriages will not collapse. We will enjoy our marriages. In Jesus' name, can we pray for those who are due for marriage? And yet they are not married yet. Can we lift our voice? Pray for somebody that is due for marriage. Somebody that is married, no children yet. Open your mouth and pray for them. Break that yoke that is delaying them. Every veil covering their glory. Anything that is not making them marry now. We are breaking the yokes. We are breaking the veils. We are taking the veils off their face. So any attitude, any character that is not helping them to marry. Some are due by bad character, bad attitudes. Let's ask God to help them. Deliver them from those attitudes. Deliver them from those characters. Anything that is delaying them. Some young men are afraid because of money. Let God take away that fear. Let God help them. Finally, let's pray for anybody that is sick. You know anybody that is sick, and we lift them to the throne of grace. God is the healer. Let's ask God to heal them. He said, I will restore back to you your health. He said, when you serve me well, I will bless your bread and bless your water, and I will take sickness away from your midst. Let's ask God for healing. Let's ask God, anyone that is sick, anybody you know that is sick, begin to pray for them. The scripture said, by his stripes we are healed. Ask for healing for them right now. In Jesus' name, give him praise for answers to your prayers. Give him praise that he has answered your prayers. You are here this morning and you have never given your life to Christ. I want to pray for you specially. You have never given your life to Christ, but this morning you are saying, Father, I'm ready to surrender to you. Come into my heart. Can I see your hand anywhere you are? Anywhere you are, you have never given your life to Christ. Can you lift your hands up? Let me see your hand. If your hands are up, can you stand and walk towards me? Anywhere you are, if your hands were up, walk towards me. Now, finally, before I leave here, 10 years from now, where will you be? Now, I want you to do something. Between now and Sunday, sit down. Take a pen and a paper. Write down 10 years from now where you want to be. Write it down. Keep one, bring one for me. I want to be praying for you. 10 years from now, where do you want to be? So please do that. Take pen, take paper, sit down. Papa said prayerful preparation will prevent poor performance. If we don't plan ahead, then we are doomed for destruction. I pray for you that you will disappoint your enemies. God has a plan for us. He said the plans I have for you, they are not plans of evil. They are plans of good to give you a better tomorrow. Plan your life. Everybody say plan your life. Look at somebody, say plan your life and plan your future. Plan your tomorrow. Tomorrow will not just fall on you. You must design your tomorrow. Somebody say amen. All right, my darling, say after me, Lord Jesus, today I've decided to surrender my life to you. Come into my heart. Be my Lord. Be my Savior. Thank you for saving me. Give me strength. Give me grace to serve you well. Thank you for saving me. In Jesus' name.